A very, very warm welcome, everybody, and welcome to the first of our webinar series on business and technology matters in the healthcare industry in GCC and beyond. My name is Frederick, and I'm working with digitalization and innovation, and today I have the honor of being your virtual host. Now, there are more than enough webinars being held on technological development in the healthcare industry, and we don't intend to compete with them. Our focus is on applied technology and successful business models on the insurance industry with a dedicated focus on healthcare and health tech in the GCC. We don't see too many practitioners sharing their experience in our field in this region, and we felt it would be natural for us to initiate this with the hope of creating more awareness and great discussions amongst all the players in the industry. Our aim is to provide real value, and we'll do so by inviting top companies and speakers to present their view on our industry or provide us with real advice on to make our businesses even better and smarter. So today, we and I am very, very happy to present two very, very special presenters that will share their experiences in their field. Our first presenter today is our own Executive Director of Information Technology, Rashed Aneyadi. And Rashed, he will talk about how Daman managed to get our 2.5 million members online when the pandemic hit, and he will share his experience and best practices during that period with us. Now, after Rashed, we have Ghouse Shariff from Microsoft, and he will be telling us things about Microsoft Teams that we didn't even know existed. And he will talk to us about tools and tricks that helps us increase our productivity, our virtual productivity significantly. You're more than welcome to ask questions anytime during this event, and we will try to answer them as soon as we get them in. And we will also collect the questions for the very end of the presentation. So please stay along to the very end. All I can say now is lean back and enjoy. So I'm very happy to welcome Mr. Rashed to talk about Daman's experience on getting 2.5 million members online. Enjoy the show. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Frederick, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm very happy to be part of this webinar today. To address the topic, during the initial days of the pandemic, all eyes was on IT. And there was a common question in the building, how fast IT will mobilize and move 1,500 employees to work remotely from home. The transition was very smooth. We have implemented couples of actions. For example, we have increased the internet bandwidth. Thanks to Etisalat and Do, it was very quick and fast. We have increased number of VPN licenses, which allow all employees to work from home. We procured additional IT assets to ensure there are no shortage. And finally, we enable Microsoft Teams along with Skype to ensure there are two ways of communications and to ensure seamless communication between the employees. Being in IT, it is our responsibility to make sure Daman systems and operations are up and running, and both customers, our internal customers, our employees, and the external customers, our members, should not feel about this transition that happened during the pandemic. One of the lessons learned from this pandemic, the disaster time, is to remain calm and composed, keeping in mind that you have a strong IT infrastructure in place where we was able to handle the pandemic very smooth. Last but not least, our foundation should be strong to handle any kind of disaster and pandemic. This only will be possible if we have dedicated, strong team along with a strong IT infrastructure. Additional to this also is to have a very well-designed processes around you. For example, in IT, thanks, we have ISO 20K, 32 processes. So having the right processes around you, you have the right people and you have the right technology that up to date suits your business, you will able to tackle any disaster. Thank you.
Thank you, Rashed. Interesting to hear it from a real expert, because you were actually the one leading this whole transition. Now, it's one thing to make a company of around 1,500 employees virtual overnight with all the issues of computers and network and everything. But it's another thing to take 2.5 million members with us on that journey. And of course, that doesn't happen easily. And it also requires a lot of changes to the way people work. I would assume that there would have been a lot of education of our own employees, but even more so also of the members that we have. So did IT take active part in this education or up-qualification of both our employees in using virtual and of course also our members? Was IT an active part of this education part?
Very good question, Frederick. See, before the pandemic, there was a very small percentage on Daman who are using Microsoft Teams, and they are aware how to use the features of Teams itself. So with the pandemic, along Daman with Microsoft, we conduct multiple virtual training to the employees, and we reach up to 70–80% of the employees they attended, where they got classes how to deal with Microsoft Teams features, how to fix some basic technical issues in case there are some issues. So today in 2021, we don't have any requests or problems with Microsoft Teams from the employees side. That's mean these classes, this virtual training was very helpful.
Thank you. And I have a couple more questions I can see is coming in. So if you were to look back now and look at your organization as it looks today, and then think back, how did it look in January 2020? What would you say is the areas that seen the biggest change? I mean, you're talking about the bandwidth and making computers and everything accessible, but can you say, is there one single thing that underwent the largest change over this transition period?
See, the changes happen in the infrastructure side, from network point of view, from servers point of view, from IT assets point of view. But the main challenge or the main change is how to be calm and how to manage the situation. This is the most important, because if you was under pressure or you was panic, you will start doing wrong decisions, and then there will be no any easy transition or very good transition. It may take days and weeks.
Yes, and thank you. And I guess that actually directly answered my last question to you for now is, if you were going to give our future IT leaders, just one advice on being better prepared for anything like this in the future, I would assume you would say stay calm, but do you have anything else to add?
Of course, the focus should be on the processes. You need to have the very well-designed processes around you. You need to have the right people who can work under pressure and experts in their fields. And also you need to have the updated technologies that suits your business around you.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Rashed. It was a really interesting talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And now let's look at it from a Microsoft perspective. And this is by no means an advertising for Microsoft Teams. But I think what you learn now is that Teams is much more than just a virtual meeting. And for example, we're using this Microsoft Teams. This is, I think, only the third or fourth time we are using it. It's fairly new for us, and there are so many things in Teams that actually can make you work smarter and much more productive, and that's what we are talking about. So it's less that, hey, you should use Teams, and much more how do we actually, now we are online, how do we actually use the functionality to work smarter and maybe more engaged in the workforce. So Mr. Ghouse, over to you. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you so much, Frederick, and thank you, Daman, for giving me the opportunity to talk about Microsoft Teams. Let me quickly start my session. All right, so let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Ghouse Shariff. I work as a technology specialist in Microsoft, focusing on Microsoft Teams platform, where I talk about how Teams helps a business and an organization and also from a collaboration standpoint, what are the benefits that Microsoft Teams provides, right? So I would like to kick off the session by the quote that our CEO Satya Nadella recently mentioned, that the amount of transformation we are seeing in the recent time is humongous, right? And the next decade of economic performance will be on every business will be defined by the speed of digital transformation the organizations are taking about. So, I mean, transformation is key to grow and also to empower users within the organization to be more productive, which drives more business impact. Now, talking about transforming a workplace collaboration is a mission imperative where we see 5 generations working together as a workforce. 49% of the government organizations and the workers are eligible to telework, and they're working on a hybrid model. And also 80% of the time the employees spend is on collaboration. So this is where Microsoft Teams has really provided the core platform to have a collaboration platform enabled for the organization. Now let me quickly go to the next slide. So for Microsoft Teams is basically a core hub for collaboration for an organization, where it delivers on 3 main pillars of features that we call, which is basically stay connected, collaborate seamlessly, and collaborate with any application securely by the Office 365 platform that we deliver from our cloud. Also at the same time, you can stay connected, you can do joint meetings, and you can think of any communication that you are doing from a day-to-day activities perspective. All of this are available within the Microsoft Teams communication features. When we say stay connected is basically interacting with your colleagues, making instant Teams meetings, joining the meetings, or making video calls or audio calls, and collaborating over audio and video to get your work done. And also at the same time, Teams provides you the entire messaging and collaboration capabilities so that you can do a quick chat with your colleagues internally within your organization, or also externally securely with other organizations as well. And when we talk about collaborating seamlessly, it's not only about just sharing documents. It's all about bringing the communication capabilities whenever you are sharing a document. That's the effective way of collaborating that we talk about, that we talk about when using Microsoft Teams. For some reason, my hello.
Yeah, Ghouse, we hear you. We hear you very well. So I think everything is still good to go.
For some reason, my slides are not moving, so I'm not able to go to the next slide. Sorry.
Okay, so maybe it's a matter of the system needs to refresh. Now, I actually have a question already. So maybe while we're waiting for the system, you could help me answer this, because one of the things that we know, of course, is Teams as it is. But I also know from you that there's a lot of features or hidden features in Teams that we can make use of. Is there any specific place where you can go to read of this, or tutorials, or learn more? I know, I mean, it is a big animal, this Microsoft Teams, right? But where would people find these productivity tips? Is there somewhere they can go? Microsoft have any forums or anything where you can learn more?
Absolutely, very good question. Within Microsoft Teams, you can get this information on what are the new features that Microsoft releases on a monthly basis on the Microsoft Teams experience. When you go to the bottom, you will see a star like a option there. When you click on that, you will get what's new, and we basically publish all the new features that we have released for that particular month. Also, at the same time, when you go to the search bar, and you can just simply use a / command and say what's new, automatically it will pull up all the features that have been released by Microsoft on Teams for that month.
Okay, thank you. And I think we can put up the presentation from another side if it's still not working, Gauss. Yeah. So we'll just do that. But while you're waiting for this, I have another one here for you, because you started answering this question by clicking on the star and reading what's new. So in our experiences, one thing is that you have the whole workbench of tools in front of you, but does Microsoft any best practices of actually embedding the use of the tools in the corporate cultures? Because it is a big shift, right? You're used to sitting in front of the people that you know, making notes on a piece of notepad, and all of a sudden the world has changed, right? So is there any learnings or practices from Microsoft saying, okay, these are the common things that you can do when you go into a meeting to get it more productive and maybe even more enjoyable? So as I said before, this is the third time we are playing with Microsoft Teams, and maybe it's also playing with us. And now actually I had another question for Gauss, which was, so some of the common pitfalls that you could avoid, because when you're forcing virtual meetings upon Teams, we all know that the best idea generation and culture building is actually coming when you are face to face or physical with people. So when the world is virtual, which is going to be for some time still, unfortunately, I wanted to discuss with Gauss if he had any ideas of the common pitfalls that you have to avoid when all of a sudden your workforce is forced to be online. And well, Gauss, we lost him actually. So allow me to freewheel here and at least give you my perspective of this. I've learned that if you want to mimic the value of doing virtual meetings, you must enforce. You simply must enforce that the camera is turned on. And if you want to do an interesting or a fun exercise, then try joining one of the typical meetings where you are seeing these 10, 15 little icons of what people is hiding behind, and then ask them to turn the cameras on one by one. And what you will see in people's faces is a smile. People, they smile when they see other faces come to life from the camera. And if that doesn't tell you everything about making a meeting better, I don't know what will. So please, for the sake of your culture, for the sake of the team, consider making it an unavoidable rule to turn your camera on for the meetings. It also allows you to see people's emotions, reactions. It allows you to see when they're dazing off or checking emails. And I have a good tip for you here, because you can easily check your emails right in a meeting and try to look up to the camera. But what most people don't realize is that when you start checking emails, you're opening new windows and opening presentations and whatever you're working on, the light from the screen is changing. And that means that the light hitting your face is also changing. So you can easily see if people, they are working on something else, because that means that the light that is reflected to their faces is changing. And that was just a fun fact. But back to being more serious, make sure that that people turn on their cameras, right? I think that is super important. And yeah. Now I think our Microsoft specialist is back. So Gauss, yes. if you want to take over again, and I'll stop my freewheeling. Thank you very much for being patient with me.
Absolutely, thank you for that. So coming back on the key features that we offer from a team's collaboration and communication perspective. The three main buckets that we have from the Microsoft platform is Stay Connected. This is where Microsoft provides the communication capability so that you can collaborate real time across the organization, where you can make calls with your colleagues, you can do audio calls, you can do video calls, you can do Teams meetings. Also at the same time, you can do content collaboration in real time while you're on a video call. Also, you can collaborate seamlessly by using documents, by using applications that are widely used by Daman employees on Microsoft Teams, so that Teams becomes one single place for all of the productivity and collaboration that you're willing to do across your organization. And you can use Teams to simplify your work because, as I mentioned, Teams is a single platform that brings in all of your applications, chat, and communication needs to give you an effective collaboration platform. Also, Microsoft is very well about the security and the compliance capabilities that are that the customers are looking for. So this is where we deliver on the promise of secure and compliant with regards from an Office 365 perspective. When we talk about collaborating seamlessly as a team from anywhere, our focus is basically organizing you and your team to be more collaborative, right? So this is where we provide the group collaboration platform where you can create quick groups among smaller groups or a larger group, and then you can add colleagues and then you can start collaborating. For example, if I want to have a quick conversation with Frederick, I can quickly have a group created, add a group of people that I need to collaborate along with Frederick, and I can share a document, and then we can easily start editing that document. So that's the real collaboration that we talk about that gets delivered through the Microsoft Teams platform. What it actually means is you all are in sync with that particular document, so you end up opening and working on one single document rather than opening on multiple different documents, which makes you more easy and effective. Also, when we talk about stay connected, this is where Teams provides the capability of one-to-one calls, joining a video meeting or a group meeting or events, which are called as webinars, like what we are doing today. So you can stay connected every time along with the Microsoft Teams platform itself. Microsoft is committed to bring AI capabilities to Microsoft Teams. This is where a lot of features like inline message translation, mobile companion mode gets delivered through our AI-infused technology on the Office 365 cloud. For example, if you are sending a text message in English, and if your colleague who is sitting across a different part of the world who does not understand English, for example, or unwilling to read that particular message in a different language, you can easily do an inline message translation that works through our Microsoft AI cloud that we have in the backend. Also, you can use the meeting recording transcription and background blur. These are very effective features than when you're in a Teams meeting, when you're in an audio call or a video call. Meeting recording transcription is a very amazing feature we delivered, where you can easily see all of the captions, all of the conversation that is spoken into the meeting reflects as a text in the meeting itself. When we talk about meetings, meetings which are audio and video calls, it's not only about just making audio and video calls, right? We want the employees to be more productive in the video call itself. This is where we bring the combination of messaging, files, and tasks, along with the whiteboard, graph APIs, and the Office application that we have through our Office 365 platform to give you one video and audio experience collaborated with your application, so that you do more productive work while not by just doing an audio or a video call. Also, simplifying work is another amazing feature that we deliver from our platform, where you can build your own applications and workflows in Microsoft Teams, so that you can make your work very effective and easier by leveraging the application capabilities that we have. Also, running your organization on Teams is primarily by projects, process, and people, and we bring all of these three elements together on one single platform to provide you the entire capabilities. From a projects perspective, you can pull together a group of people as a project team, and then you can collaborate. You can quickly schedule meetings, and you can do audio and video calls. You can share information, you collaborate on documents, you can assign tasks, you can access information easily versus the legacy way of working. So this is the real transformation that we are talking about from on Microsoft Teams. Also, at the same time, Microsoft is committed to drive the cultural transformation also. This is where the features of inclusivity, town hall, team engagement, and meet with remote teams are delivered through the Microsoft Teams platform. One of the initiative, one of the key focus that we have in Microsoft Teams is basically to have an inclusive workplace that helps employees to achieve their best, right? So this is where we deliver all of the inclusive features and accessibility features. How you are proactively promoting an exclusive work environment to all of the employees. What organizations are thinking from an accessibility perspective. To address those needs, we have all of the accessibility features that are delivered through Microsoft Teams. So that's all from my side. Happy to take any questions, and I'm happy to answer any of the questions you have.
Thanks, Ghouse. And we actually do have we have quite a few questions here coming in for you. You were mentioning the whole flow and the ability to use I think you call it Power Build or something, to build workflows and approval flows. And we actually have a question from one of our viewers that he feels that he's unable to collaborate or make flows in Microsoft Teams, and since approvals is an important part of their workflow, even ours. But we actually do use approvals workflow in Teams. So I think maybe it boils back to 2 or 3 things. One is, again, how is there any expertise that you can reach out to if you want to know how to use these flows? First one, and do you see at the moment that there are any significant limitations in how the flows are built in Microsoft Teams?
Absolutely. I mean, we are having dedicated resources from Microsoft to understand what are the issues that are used from if something related to Teams collaboration is not working, if something related to the Power Automate and also the workflow integrations that are available from a Teams point of view. Happy to support on that. I can connect with Frederick and the gentleman who asked the question and see how we can address that.
I think that would be cool. I mean, and if you're open to it, maybe allow people to connect with you on LinkedIn. People of course very, welcome to connect with us as well, and we can direct the contact. But thanks, Ghouse. That's very important. And we have Wasim, who's asking a quick question about Microsoft and where you are storing your customer data. And I think that's very region specific. But I'll let you give an answer to that.
Yeah. So absolutely, very good point. This is where Microsoft is open in sharing all the information, because we do not store any personal data, or we do not use any personal data for advertisements and etc. So all of the organizational data that is generated on Microsoft Teams, when we say chat, when we say documents, when from a collaboration standpoint, all of that gets stored in our Office 365 Microsoft Cloud. And that cloud is available in the UAE data centers which we have. We have 2 data centers in Microsoft UAE, which is North and South. And any of the data of Daman gets stored locally here with regards to data at rest, which is messaging and collaboration. Data transit is entirely encrypted, and all of the Teams audio and video calls that happens and gets encrypted at the highest level of security. And all the services are delivered through the UAE data center itself.
And I think now it seems that there's actually quite a lot of interest for the training and the Power Automate training. So maybe you could, I don't know if you can do it while we're having this live event, but maybe later share some links to where you can actually get these resources and training in especially the Power Automate. There's a lot of comments on this coming in, so maybe if we could share that would be valuable, even for me. Another thing. I don't know if you were having your head down in figuring out how to find the presentation when I was talking, or I was going ballistic on turning on your cameras when having meetings. But I would like to know if you have any ideas you want to share about what are the most common pitfalls that people tend to drop into when we go to virtual meetings that you have to avoid to make the meetings, you know, better and more engaging? Do you have any experience you can share with us in that area?
Absolutely. On the questions related to Power Automate trainings, workflows and all, I'm happy to work with you. We have a dedicated team from Microsoft who engages directly with end users to understand the requirements, to make it as a to formulate that from a requirement to an actual process. We have dedicated resources that can help Daman to do that. Now, from a meeting,
I'm so sorry for cutting you off there, Ghouse, but these questions are coming from outside Daman. We know very well because I'm one of the ones forcing teams on everybody because I know how it works, right? But it's more for our viewers outside Daman. If where can they go? Do they have a dedicated Microsoft or is there a website where you can watch videos on how to use it?
Yes, absolutely. So if you go to aka.ms/Microsoft Teams trainings, you will find all of the trainings that are available on Microsoft Teams, whether it could be Power Apps, Power Automate, Flow, which is now called as Power Automate, the workflow integrations and different applications that Microsoft has certified and how to use those applications. All that information is available in trainings website. You can always quickly access that and gain some information from there.
Excellent, thank you. And I'm not letting you go with the question about the pitfalls. So if you have some pitfalls to avoid when you go into virtual meetings, we would love to hear that as well. Yes.
Well, virtual meetings are one of the important aspects because on a virtual meeting, there is a lot of work that happens, and also you are actually running your business, meaning today organizations are using Teams to such an extent that all of the organizational decision making is happening on Teams. So this is where Teams is running the core business of an organization. This is where you need to have a powerful meeting experience to take that decision, right? So a couple of points that I usually recommend customers to have effective meetings is to have a proper video experience and also to promote video as a culture within the organization for having an effective virtual face-to-face conversation, right? So from that perspective, I always suggest customers to go with a good web camera if you're working from home, or if you are sitting in a meeting room. Microsoft has dedicated Teams room systems which can convert a normal meeting room into a video experience to have that, to give you that effective video collaboration. Also, you can search for the certified devices that Microsoft has published on the website, where we have recommendations around what kind of a hardware should be used and what are the different configurations that can be used to have an effective video meeting.
Thanks, Ghouse. And I think you were too quick when you said the address of the training website. I have some questions here asking what is the name again. so would you mind repeating it?
Yeah, I'm going to post that on the chat so that it appears for everybody.
Yes. Thank you. That's perfect. And in the meantime, there's a question back to Rashed, who's asking what the IT experience with using Teams is in Daman at the moment, and to what extent that's actually being used as a collaborative tools, because I can see that there are so many other tools like Jira and what have you for collaborating within IT. So is IT themselves using Team for collaboration, or is it mainly for the meetings, Rashed?
I believe in Daman IT, Microsoft Team is a powerful solution software. It's not only connecting you with your colleagues, but in connecting you with the entire world. For the last 1 year, we manage all our meetings, trainings, workshops on Microsoft Teams, and there is still a lot to do. So overall, we are happy in Daman IT and entire Daman with Microsoft Teams. Yes, in the market there are a lot of competitors, but I believe among them, Microsoft Teams consider one of the top 3.
Thank you, Rashed. I'm just rechecking our question and answers. I'm actually really happy for the number of questions that we've gotten. It seems that we hit a topic that's close to many people's hearts. So thank you very much. I don't see any more questions. So on this, I would like to thank every one of you for taking the time to be with us today. And as I said in the beginning, this is going to be monthly, where we will have new interesting partners coming and giving their take on the industry or how we can use technology to be a little smarter in our everyday. So keep yourself posted here on LinkedIn or on our social media. And next time, who knows how Teams is going to play with us for. So you can tune in just to see if that's going to happen again. Otherwise, I would like to thank you all very much. Thank you, Rashed. Thank you, Ghouse. Thank you everybody behind the scenes for making this work. So on that note, enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks again for staying with us, and see you hopefully next time. Goodbye.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.